Hello and welcome to Friday Live. I am your host, Strata lawyer Amanda Farmer. It is Friday. I am in the car. Once again, we are going out live to the Your Strata Property Facebook page. We're going out to LinkedIn. We're going out to YouTube. I hope that you have all had a fantastic week in Strata. If you have been following what's been going on the page, you may know that we've had a pretty busy week here ourselves. Last Friday, our annual CPD event in Mudgee. We saw so many of you who I know tune in regularly. It was great to see you in person, in the flesh, and spend time with you at both our VIP day on the Thursday and our CPD event on the Friday. Still recovering from that. Dust is still settling. And yeah, I'm on the road once again. Hey, Sean M. Hey, Suzanne. I see those hellos coming on in. Yes, so in the car, I have my background blurred, which is not my usual style, even when I'm in the car. That's because there's a little bit of activity going on behind me. So just wanted to keep things focused here. But yes, I am real. I am here. This is not AI, as much as all this glitching in the background might tell you otherwise. I am in the car because we're heading off for a weekend of basketball. So I am accompanying my 12-year-old son, who is playing representative basketball at the moment. And when you live in a regional town, when you play representative sport, the region is large. So there's a lot of traveling. Sometimes we're driving 5 hours. Sometimes we're driving 3 hours. Sometimes it's a couple of hours like it is today. And we're spending the weekend playing 3 or 4 games of basketball. And yeah, I'm learning a lot about basketball. Cool sport. I like it. And when the parents have to help out on the desk with the scoring, hands up, parents who help out with their kids or grandkids' sport, you learn a lot about the sport. Stressful, let me tell you, with basketball, doing the scoring and knowing more hand movements than I knew could be done with 10 fingers. Give me the tribunal any day. But yeah, that's what's happening in my world and why I'm in the car once again today. If you've got any basketball tips, let me know. I can pass them on to the team. Okay. Hey, David. Hey, Nathan. How you doing today? Deborah saying, hope everyone is feeling good. I think we're feeling good, ready to go. We're going to be here around about half an hour, or at least as long as I'm allowed to sit here without, Mom, come on, get off. Get off your stop, do strata chat. Let's keep going. I've got places to be. A little bit to cover today. If you saw my email, I am asking for your help, your ideas, your questions for a training that I am hosting online next Thursday. I'm going to let you know a little bit more about that. And many of you have been asking me, many strata managers in particular have been asking me, Amanda, how did the survey turn out? What are the results of the survey? When are we going to see those? What are your findings? What's happening? How have your discussions with government been going? When are we going to see some training? So give you a bit of an update on that as well. That is the plan for today. The some photos and some videos from our Mudgee event from last week are here on this page, on the Your Strata Property Facebook page. They're floating around LinkedIn and Instagram as well. So if you want to have a little look at yourself, if you were there, or if you weren't there, what was going on, please do feel free to check that out. If you're coming in live, give me a hello here. If you're catching the replay, I always come back around and I love to see your hellos as well. So David's got a basketball tip. Okay, basketball tip, incoming basketball tip. I'm letting the back seat know. Always use a full court press, not a zone. It will annoy the opposition. Okay. We're gonna put that one in the toolkit. Thank you, David. I might need to do some Googling to work out what that means. Hey, how are you? Happy Friday. Sean saying, what's the deal? Okay. All right, might be a reply there to David. Sean, we're talking about basketball if you have missed it, because that's what I'm doing this weekend. Mudgee last week. I'm still catching my breath. I'm still coming back to earth after that event. I have been receiving messages from strata managers, even from strata owners, saying, Amanda, when's your next event? When do I get a look in on this, we are already selling tickets to Mudgee 2026, those exclusively available to the delegates who attended 2025. You know who you are. And I got to say, when I just pulled over from driving and just checked the inbox there, we are 50% sold out for 2026. That is like 12 months away, guys, 12 months away. So that is awesome. That goes to show how many who were there last week are ready and raring to go again for 2026. So thank you for that support. If you weren't there in 25, but you do want to be there in 26, you can join the waitlist so that you are the first to know all the details. Well, the next to know. The first to know were those who were there last week and have the special opportunity to purchase straight up. But the next to know will be those on our waitlist. So the team here has a link for you. There it goes into the comments. Team is on the ball today. If you want to jump on the waitlist for the Mudgee 2026 CPD event, you can do that through that link that has just come in here into the comments. But if you missed out and you're thinking, man, 2026 is such a long way away, I want to access some of your training now, I would love to hear all about what you delivered last week. I want a little look in on some of that education. I want to learn about best practice repairs and maintenance. I want to learn about WHS in Strata. Then next week is your week. We've had this planned for a little while, and the timing is good. The timing is good because those of you who are saying, Amanda, when can I get in on this training? The answer is next Thursday, the 10th of April. I'm going to be online for most of the day. It's about a 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. time slot next Thursday, the 10th of April. I'm going to be online delivering what is really the same training content that was delivered in Mudgee. This is the fair trading curriculum for New South Wales Strata Managers compulsory CPD for this licensing year. If you missed out last week or you just want to be part of the action, be part of it all, this is your chance to join me from wherever you are. I am going to be covering best practice management of defects and repair and maintenance of common property, work health and safety. We're going to be having a look at the new supervision guidelines. And when I delivered this content for our Mudgee attendees last week, I said, you know, supervision guidelines, what are they? It's a bit of legislation that property professionals have to comply with, some kind of dry, maybe boring operating procedures, but you know me, I like to jazz things up a bit. We actually used that session to do a deep dive into some of the recommendations that came out of the McGrath-Nicol investigation into net strata. So if you've looked at that report or you haven't looked at that report and you want to have a look at it, there were 22 recommendations that I think are really, really important for our strata managers to be across, to understand and to think, well, hang on, should we be implementing some of these recommendations in our own businesses? So going to be looking at those recommendations on Thursday's training as part of that supervision guidelines topic. There's a link, there's a connection between the McGrath-Nicol report and the supervision guidelines, let me tell you. And we're going to be covering off the strata law reform that came into effect at the end of 2023. We've all been grappling with that for the last 12 months or so. We've got some practical tips, time to answer your questions about how you've been implementing those reforms. So even if you don't need CPD points, you are welcome to hang out with me in a small group environment. Supercharge your strata knowledge. If you're an owner, you are more than welcome. A committee member, you're more than welcome. You've already done your CPD elsewhere, you are more than welcome. And here's the thing, if you can't attend live, no worries. Every ticket holder is also going to receive the full video recording of that training day. So if you do need to get your CPD points, you need to do your assessment, you do need to be there live and interactive. We're going to have a group who is there live and interactive, completing their CPD hours. You know that as strata managing agents, you got to do that bit. But if you don't need to claim your CPD, then I want to make sure you still have access to this content. So I'm going to be recording the day. And if you've got a ticket to attend the day, then you will have access to the full video recording. So it's Thursday, the 10th of April, 2025. That is next Thursday, 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That includes some morning tea, lunchtime, what do they call them? hygiene breaks, comfort breaks. Yep, there's going to be some comfort breaks in there too. We are live on Zoom. Ticket prices vary depending on your membership status. If you're a member of our online community, you can get a really great discount on that ticket. You want to click through to yourstrataproperty.com.au/CPD online. /CPD online is the link. Team has already got that one going here in the comments for you, which is awesome. Now, I want to be super clear about this. If you are a member of the Your Strata Property online community, then you actually have members only access to the recording only ticket option for this event. So this is a heavily discounted ticket option. You don't attend the event, but you get the full video recording of the day. So when you go over and hit that page at /CPD online, hit one of those blue book your seat buttons and you'll be taken down to the ticket options for the day and you'll see the recording only option. That's an option available for our members. And let me tell you, it's not hard to grab a membership, not expensive to grab a membership. If you're a member or you grab a membership, then you can purchase one of those options to just get the recording of the day. No need to turn up, don't have to attend in person, but you'll just get the recording of the day. You will get all of that value, all of that goodness, all of that learning from those topics from that day delivered to you to watch back whenever it suits you in your own time. So I'm already seeing members who are snapping up those recording only tickets, which is awesome. Jump on in. It's kind of a bit of a no-brainer to grab that much value for that small price. Head over and have a look. yourstrataproperty.com.au/CPD online. All right, so that's what's happening in the training space. That's the next event, next Thursday online, the 10th of April. Those of you who have joined us and are like, Amanda, where are you? Are you on the moon? Why do you have your background blacked out? Yes, I am in the car. There's a little bit happening behind me here as we are on our way to a weekend. Oh, there we go. Hi. As we are on our way to a weekend of basketball, representative basketball in our, not even our local region. We're traveling. That's what we do in the country. We travel when we are playing rep sport. So we've just stopped for a little strata chat, as we like to do. Mum, all you talk about is strata. What's going on? That's just how we roll. Who else is coming in saying hi? Karina is here from Melbourne. How you doing? Seaglass is here. Cool name. Seaglass. Very good. Neighbour apartment building has illegally painted 6 extra car spaces against my wall in Redfern. How do I start a petition? Oh, I always find those questions about neighbouring buildings really interesting because it's the shifting of strata into the real world, right? So when we live in a strata building, we have these really unusual rights to dictate what our neighbours can and can't do. And if our neighbour has a barking dog, if our neighbour has a noisy party, if our neighbour puts something on a common property wall, then we can do something about that because we have laws that regulate that. When we have non-strata properties, what I often call freestanding homes, albeit freestanding can still be strata, but non-strata properties, you can't regulate what your neighbor does. People come to me with complaints about the neighboring building and where they're putting their bins, the noise that they're making, the barking dogs in the neighboring building. Not a lot that you can do, unlike in a strata building. I'm not going to get into the details of your question there, Seaglass. If you are a member inside our community, that's a really great question for the forum, and we can talk about where exactly this wall is and how this painting happened. But I think you're recognizing that this is a different situation to if this was happening within the strata building, a problem on the common property, it might be a bit easier because you said, maybe I need to start a petition. Maybe that is what you need to do. Maybe the local council might have something to say about that one. I have asked you today to share with me, and maybe this is where Seaglass is coming from, asked you to share with me your questions that you might have ahead of next Thursday's training, specifically about the topic of repair and maintenance. Now, I said to those who were with me in Mudgee last week, and I think I put it in my email again today, that is a topic that I am really, really passionate about. When I have people who don't know a lot about what I do, often journalists who will say, Amanda, what is the main issue in Strata? What does your work revolve around? What do you see in the way of disputes coming up again and again? I always say repair and maintenance issues. I, week in, week out, am acting for owners in buildings suffering because of an owner's corporation's failure to recognize, or perhaps they recognize, they just don't comply with their legal duty to properly repair and maintain common property. So when the Fair Trading CPD curriculum came out, we saw it last year, and it had this topic of best practice repair and maintenance, I was woohoo. I was jumping for joy, really, really excited that they had picked my favorite topic to go deep on for the CPD year. I am going to be covering this off. I want to tackle it in a little bit of a different way to the way that I did last week in Mudgee. And I would really love to hear from you. Many of you I know are owners, your committee members. What questions do you have on this repair and maintenance topic that I can answer for you in Thursday's session? We may be here with Seaglass's question. I've touched on one here. What about repair issues, damage between neighboring properties? Is that a thing? How do we deal with that? If you have other questions on this, if you're educated in this space and you've been tuning in here for a little while, as many of you have, you will know I'm talking about this Section 106 Strata Schemes Management Act duty to properly repair and maintain the common property. If that's not complied with, if that's not done, then we do in New South Wales have a right. Lot owners do have a right to claim their damages, their losses that they suffer because of that breach. That's definitely an aspect that's really important to understand and to talk about. We'll do that on Thursday. Suzanne's coming in saying, hi, Amanda, I won an NCAT hearing last week after a 3.5-year issue, CCTV cameras. Oh, I love it. Suzanne, congratulations. If you've got a reported decision, recorded, I know it probably won't be reported. If you've got a written decision, love to see that one. Feel free to send it through. Cindy, how you doing? Cindy saying, is there a standard R&M template an OC can use as our insurance company wants evidence? Do you have to buy a software program? That would be helpful as it's only a 10-lot building. Do you know, I've heard this before. I think maybe Rena Van Els, Strata Manager on the podcast, might have raised this one, saying insurers are asking really detailed questions now about repair and maintenance, whether it's happened, when it happened, what is it. So I understand where you're coming from, Cindy. I'm not sure that I've seen a standard repair and maintenance template, maybe as a ticker box kind of checklist. Have these things been done? When were they done? You might be able to, here's an idea, if you've got a 10-year capital works plan, you might be able to use that plan as a bit of a guide to be able to go through and say, you know what, we're 5 years into the 10 years and we have done all of the things, if you're a straight A kind of building, all of the things that the plan says we should have done in the last 5 years. Insurer, here we can confirm that we've done these things, or we've done most of these things and here's the reason why we haven't done the others, or we've done some of these things and we're planning to do the rest of these things in these years. So yeah, maybe a capital works fund plan would be a good place to start if you're looking for that kind of template, but great question there. Sydney resident saying, John Minns recently said about Strata, don't pay for reports, pay to get things fixed. Do you agree? Yeah, interesting. Well, look, sometimes you've got to pay for reports so you know what to get fixed. Yeah, you're with me on that. And it's definitely, if you are doing significant repair work impacting waterproofing, repair work that might require council approval because you're changing something about the appearance of the building, then you have to comply with the Design and Building Practitioners Act. And then you got to get reports and you got to get designs, and it's all going to take unfortunately longer than you might want it to and be more expensive. I'd be saying stop talking about it and start doing what is necessary. If that means getting a report, then get the report and comply with the report. I definitely work with owners who are telling me regularly, Amanda, they've been getting reports for 3 years. We've got 3 different reports. Now we've got 5 quotes. The quotes just keep getting more expensive. Get on with it. Get on with it would be my recommendation. But thanks, Sydney resident, for bringing that one to my attention. I think one of the members in our forum posted John's comments that were made to media recently. I have to have a closer look and have a read of that article. Henry saying, hi, Amanda, regarding repair and maintenance, what do we do about the Bunnings Brigade who want to do everything themselves and handle these tasks themselves? How do we achieve code compliance and WHS obligations, especially when people are suspicious of strata management quotations? Great one, Henry. I love that one. Team, let's put that one on the list because it's got that really nice crossover between repair and maintenance obligations and workplace health and safety. How does that apply? Does workplace health and safety law apply when we're dealing with what is otherwise a residential owners corporation, and then all of a sudden our volunteer committee members are doing work on the common property? Really great question, and it touches on both of those topics that we're going to be covering on Thursday: repair and maintenance obligations and workplace health and safety. So that's for thinking. Thank you very much, Henry, for that one. Sydney resident saying, yes, agreed, but good to have a scope of work associated with a report. Yeah, definitely. In a one-on-one call that I had with one of our members probably a month or so ago, those who want to dig into the library and find this one, we talked through this process of major repair works and how it should work in a functioning building. A building that's doing things properly. How does this process play out? Well, it plays out by, yes, getting an engineer or qualified person in to do that scope of work, approving that scope of work, putting that scope of work out to tender and getting those 3 contractor quotes back, interviewing each of your contractors, deciding which one you want to go with, taking the recommendation of the engineer. Is that engineer then going to project manage the works as well? And then engaging one of those contractors, perhaps having the contract looked at by a lawyer to make sure that it fully protects the owners corporation, raising the money to do the work. There's definitely a process when we're talking about these major repair and maintenance works. Yes, reports are involved. Yes, scopes of work are involved. Emily saying, talking about 10-year plans, do stressing New South Wales need to update their plan based on the increased costs of waterproofing? Our waterproofing has increased 428% since 2018, and we are significantly underfunded. Thank you for raising that, Emily. Yes, this is the DBPA effect on our 10-year plans. I'm not the first one to recommend, I heard it somewhere else first, recommend that strata managers be telling their committees, you need to DBPA test your 10-year plans. What does that mean? New South Wales, the Design and Building Practitioners Act is making all of this work more expensive. So what you estimated or what your plan estimated 5 years ago, you would be spending, particularly if we're talking about waterproofing, Emily said 428% more expensive. That is just heartbreaking if you haven't planned for that. So get your Capital Works Fund plans DBPA tested. All right, keep those ideas coming, please, everyone, for your repair and maintenance questions. You can pop them here in the comments. You can put them on LinkedIn. You can put them on YouTube if that's where you're watching. You can hit reply to my email that came to your inbox this afternoon and send me your question. I plan to answer those, incorporate the learnings, the teachings into the content that I'm going to be delivering online next Thursday. So I would love for you to help me shape that session. Remember, if you are a member in our online community, you can grab the recording of next Thursday's session. Huge value for a small price for you members. You just head over to yourstrataproperty.com.au/CPD online, and you will be able to secure that recording for you. No need to turn up next Thursday. Pretty cool, hey? That's the modern world. That's the beauty of doing things online. I'm soon going to wrap up because we got to keep going, get back on the road here. But first of all, I do want to confirm, yes, the results of the Strata Committee Training Survey are in. Yes, I did have the opportunity to discuss them with government a couple of weeks ago. Those discussions, I hope, are going to continue, particularly as we really start to unpack the data. The mountains, we got mountains of data that have come through with this survey. My team is working on packaging up those results for you in a form that I plan to share far and wide, including perhaps with some media outlets, maybe. What these results show is that our strata committees and our committee members urgently need help so that they can properly help their communities with the right guidance, they can make the right decisions, they can start acting in the best interests of their communities. The results show that we desperately need and that you want a quality training program. I have told government that you don't just want ticker box training. And you want to be able to choose where you get that training from. You don't want to be forced into a single option that might not meet you where you're at, especially those of you in buildings with some more complex needs, those of you who are more experienced committee members. Now, already off the back of the survey, I have been approached by strata managers and committee members, owners alike, asking me if I am able to deliver training for committees. And my response to those queries has been, I don't know. The government hasn't yet mandated this. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what the requirements are going to be. And the answer that I get back is, Amanda, yeah, we're following the news. We've heard what you said. We know that, but we need help now. And we're not prepared to wait for government to act. That could be months and months away. We want to get on the front foot. Can you help us? So please know that in response to that need, the team and I are working on something that we believe will help. I don't have all the details of that ready to share with you now, but know that we are hearing you. I am hearing you, and we are working on it. If you are a strata manager with committees who are saying, we want this training now, please get in touch with me directly. It is through having those conversations with you that I can learn exactly what you need so we can produce it. If you're a committee member who answered that survey saying, we want quality training now, we are willing to pay for it as a building, I would love for you to get in touch with me too. You can pop a private message here on Facebook or send an email to my inbox. We are in data gathering and data presentation mode, and we know that if that process is done correctly, we can deliver what meets your needs and we can hit those head on. So please, the more you let me know what it is that you need, the more likely that I'm able to produce something that meets that need. Alrighty, so I will see some of you online on Thursday, the 10th of April. If you need to get your CPD, you want to do that in one day with me, New South Wales Strata agent, you can book on in for that one day online, Thursday, the 10th, yourstrataproperty.com.au/CPD online. If you don't need the CPD, if you just want to be part of the action, if you just want to grab that recording, head over to that page as well. You will see those options available to you. Our members who are choosing that recording only option, you're going to get huge value for a small price. So please, I want to be super clear that that option is there available for you. I'm overheating. We need to get moving again so that we make our basketball weekend. Keep those repair and maintenance questions coming through. I'm going to head back and check those and pop them into our run sheet for next Thursday. Thanks so much for dropping by. It's lovely to see you. Have a great weekend in Strata, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye for now.